You know, right this very second, there's a secret symphony playing inside your head. It's a constant hidden buzz of electrical activity. Your brain is never, ever quiet. It's always humming along with these rhythms, from these super fast vibrations to slow, deep, rolling waves. So let's dive into this amazing internal world, shall we?
So let me just ask you this straight up. Do you think your brain ever really, powers down for a rest? Like you'd shut down a computer?
Well, the answer is a big, resounding no. It is always on, and its activity, it's fundamentally rhythmic. You could say these rhythms are the brain's secret language, telling a story about literally everything, from your deepest sleep to your sharpest focus. They're kind of like the soundtrack to your life.
Okay, so if there's a symphony playing in there, how in the world do we listen in? Well, for more than 100 years, scientists have had this incredible tool that lets us eavesdrop on the brain's private conversation. It's called an electroencephalogram, or EEG for short. Now, let's be clear, this isn't mind reading, not at all. An EEG is simply measuring these teensy tiny electrical pulses right on the surface of the scalp. But what's so wild is that those little signals are actually the combined electrical murmur of thousands and thousands of brain cells, all firing away together just underneath your skull.
That brings up a really good question, though. If each little brain cell is just a tiny spark, how do we get a signal that's actually strong enough to measure through bone and skin?
The secret ingredient is synchrony. Think about it like this. Imagine a huge crowd of people all just murmuring to each other. It's a lot of noise, but it's chaotic. That's kind of like your alert brain, small, fast brainwaves. But what if that same crowd started clapping all together in perfect unison? Bam! The sound is huge. That's what happens when your neurons fire together. Their tiny signals add up to create these powerful, slow waves that are the absolute signature of deep sleep. So all these different waves, gamma, beta, alpha, and so on, they basically form a kind of rhythmic alphabet. And each letter tells us exactly what your brain is up to. The fast ones, gamma and beta, that's your brain hard at work, solving problems. The slower ones, alpha and theta, they show up when you're chilling out, getting sleepy. And the slowest of all, delta waves, that's the hallmark of deep, restorative sleep. It's like we're decoding the brain's own secret language.
So let's use this new alphabet to look at the nightly journey we call sleep. Because it's not just one thing, right? It's not like flipping a switch. Instead, our brain takes us on this wild roller coaster ride through different stages, all on this predictable, repeating schedule.
Broadly speaking, you've got two main states of sleep. A research pioneer named William Dement just nailed the description. He said non-REM sleep is an idling brain in a movable body. Basically, your brain's taking a break. But REM sleep? He called that an active, hallucinating brain in a paralyzed body. I mean, how perfect is that? During REM, your brain's EEG looks like you're almost awake, but your body is completely locked down. And that's when we have our most vivid, bizarre, story-like dreams. And all through the night, we cycle through these states over and over, about every 90 minutes. It's a pattern. We start by drifting down through the stages of non-REM, going deeper and deeper, until our brain waves are those big, slow delta waves. Then we kind of climb back up and pop into a burst of REM sleep, before the whole cycle just starts all over again.
And here's a really crucial point. Think about this. A huge chunk of our night, about 75% of it, is spent in that quiet, restorative non-REM state. This isn't just wasted time. It's when the brain is doing its housekeeping, clearing out toxins and locking in memories. It's absolutely vital for learning, for health, for, well, everything.
But wait a minute. What's conducting this whole nightly orchestra? And what about our bigger 24-hour cycle of feeling awake and then feeling tired? Well, it turns out we have a master clock, a tiny conductor buried deep inside our brain.
And these are our circadian rhythms. This is just the fancy term for our internal biological clocks that control pretty much everything. Our hormone levels, our body temperature, our alertness, all on a schedule that's roughly 24 hours long. And here it is. The band leader for your entire body is a teeny tiny structure called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. It's just this minuscule cluster of neurons in the hypothalamus, but it's the central pacemaker that keeps your entire body ticking in time.
This quote just nails it. We've got this clock inside of us, right? But it doesn't just run on its own in a vacuum. It has to be fine-tuned, it has to be calibrated every single day to stay in sync with the actual world.
And you know what the most powerful signal for that daily tune-up is? Sunlight. It's amazing. And get this, it's not even our main vision cells that do this job. We have a special type of light-sensitive cell in our retina whose main job is to talk directly to the SCN. They send a signal that basically says, hey, sun's up. And that signal resets the clock, making sure our internal day matches the 24-hour day outside.
So you can see this whole system of rhythms is pretty elegant and it's absolutely essential. But what happens when it breaks? What's the price we pay for having a brain that gets out of sync? Well, the consequences can be huge. Epilepsy, for instance, is basically a disorder of too much synchrony. It's when neurons fire together in a runaway electrical storm. Narcolepsy is when parts of REM sleep, like that body paralysis, just suddenly invade your waking life. And then there's one we've probably all felt, jet lag. That's nothing more than the awful feeling of your internal SCN clock being totally out of whack with the new time zone you just flew into. All of this just goes to show how incredibly important these rhythms are for our health, for our reality. And yet, after all this incredible science, there's still a really deep mystery. We know sleep is essential, but there's a running joke among researchers that the only function of sleep we're 100% sure about is that it cures sleepiness. And that just leaves us with this incredible thought, doesn't it? We spend a third of our entire lives in this complex, rhythmic, totally essential state, and we're still just scratching the surface of why. So you have to wonder what other secrets are just waiting to be discovered in the quiet rhythms of the night.